what the fuck is that?
Gyno! Ah!
Emergency gyno treatment. Trevor, what do we do when we want to spare no expense? We want to get rid of the gyno as fast as possible. We're not worried about isolating the issue. We can do that later. We just want to get rid of it quick.
Babe, what the fuck is that?
Gyno! Ah!
First thing you ever want to do would be letrozole. You're killing everything. You're killing your estrogens to the point where your body won't produce or aromatize anything. So if we hit it hard with letrozole, even if it was a prolactin issue, prolactin and progesterone need estrogen. You guys got to remember that. It feeds off of estrogen. So if your estrogen was completely shut down, you just hit it from both angles. If you had to pick one single thing to take, letrozole, real letrozole will kill it. So start with letrozole. That way you don't have to sit here and guess whether it was prolactin or whether it was estrogen. You're killing estrogen, which in turn will reduce the prolactin buildup in progesterone. And you don't have to sit there and mess around with taking things like, you know, trying to find real cabergoline or trying to use Promi and then end up having some really bad side effects. So if there's one drug that you would have to take, letrozole.
All right, dosage of letrozole. If we want to just shotgun blast it, we're not worried about the side effects. We want to get rid of the gyno. We can always taper down in the dosage later. What do we hit it? What do we hit it with?
Well, the half-life is roughly 72 hours, give or take. So I mean, if you're gonna go extreme, I wouldn't go more than 3 the first day and then start dropping it down.
3 pills the first day.
The first day. And then you can go right into just back to 1 pill or 2 and then 1 pill. Because 3-day, you know, half-life, if you start doing 3 for 3 days in a row, you're gonna be in a world of hurt for about a week or so. You're gonna feel your joints hurting, your head. There's gonna be a lot of side effects with having 0 estrogens. If you're really that worried or if it's that bad where it's gonna be a permanent issue, you can go 3-2-1 protocol or 3-1-1 and then stick to the 1 for, you know, it's gonna still take 2 or 3 days for the symptoms to start going away. And just remember that it's still building up. So don't overdo it, but you could do the 3-2-1 or 3-1-1. And then you do that and you go into back to half every day into half every other day and taper down.
So it sounds like letrozole alone is enough, but let's say out of an abundance of caution, I just want to shotgun blast it with as many drugs as possible. Is it going to help a little bit, even if I were to add Caber, tamoxifen, raloxifene, SERMs, and other?
Don't add a SERM if it's progesterone based. You would get plenty out of cabergoline and letrozole. If you take those two, whatever you have is going to be gone. If you tried to take tamoxifen and you were having progesterone issues, you could make it worse. And then, you know, you got to remember that. And in turn, another just side note to any of the SERMs, the longer you stay on the SERM, the more sensitive you become to estrogen. So it is a good way to hit something hard, but if you're taking any androlone base or trembolone, if you were to try and hit it with tamoxifen, you could actually make things worse.
Okay, something important to understand, guys, is you don't want to be on letrozole for a really long time. I know a lot of guys that are so paranoid about gyno and they know that letrozole works, so they'll blast letrozole, they'll keep taking letrozole. This is a quick fix to get out of the gyno zone fast, but once you get out of the gyno zone, it's time to figure out which hormonal balance is actually causing the ongoing gyno problem. Don't rely on something like letrozole for the long term. Figure out whether it's progesterone based causing the gyno, whether it's estrogen based, which substances that you're taking are converting to estrogen that's causing the problem, whether you respond well to a SERM like tamoxifen or preferably like a raloxifene, or whether you respond better to something that just reduces the estrogen in your bloodstream like an aromatase inhibitor. And also keep in mind that gynos often caused not by the amount of estrogen, but kind of the ratio of your androgens to estrogen. So if your androgens are really low, even if your estrogen's low, you can still have gyno. This video is only about the quick emergency fix. Think long term after that. Be swell and swole, my friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.
So, I guess I'd like to consider myself a studious person. I usually weigh all of the options very carefully before making a decision. That's why my choice to begin steroids was so carefully calculated after weighing all of the benefits versus all of the risks.
If you're not already subscribed and you don't want to miss out on cutting edge content on the daily, hit the subscribe button. Masteron as a gyno cure? Dr. Tony Huge. This is Coach Trevor, and I had a gyno flare-up again recently. I took exemestane, I took letrozole. I didn't knock it out. It was caused by taking tren and NPP, nandrolone phenylpropionate, have the same progesterone side effect of possibly causing gyno. And usually gyno is caused fastest when you have a combination of high estrogen plus a progesterone, like a trenbolone or a DECA or an NPP. And that's exactly what happened. And then once I get the flare-up, it's hard to get rid of. So I was like, what else can I throw into my cycle in a short burst so I can knock this gyno out? And I added masterone, and it went away really quickly. In addition to dropping the trenbolone. See, but even after I dropped the trenbolone, the gyno wouldn't go away until I shot a high dose of masterone. So is there any merit to that, Trevor? Am I right in thinking that masterone has some ability to help get rid of gyno or prevent gyno?
Yes, it does. What I would say to it, it could have been perfect timing as the estrogen or progesterone effects were dropping off and dropping the trend, the buildup of the aromatase inhibitors that you were taking. And it could have been a perfect timing, but masterone 100% acts as an aromatase inhibitor. And if you look at freeing up testosterone and inhibiting the testosterone going into estrogen, masterone does do this. So DHT compounds can do this as well. Masterone's more effective at it. I would never rely on it as an AI, ever. But if you're incorporating it into a cycle where gynecomastia or estrogen or progesterone or prolactin is going to be a possible issue, masterone is something that I always talk about either keeping in a cycle at a low dose, like an NFA, or proviron. When you hear me talking about freeing up testosterone, proviron, masterone does the same thing, but it has a greater effect with the estrogen control. So running things like this through a cycle, one, you're going to get the DHT-like side effects, you're going to get some fat burning effect, you're going to get hardening from it, but it's going to keep free testosterone up, it's going to go to places you don't want that to go, get better effects, and then keeping your estrogen more in the balance and control. It's more preventative than it is an actual one.
So for me, if I'm ever going to run tren or NPP or DECA, I'm going to also throw in masterone. Good strategy?
Yeah, I would, honest to God, unless you're prone to DHC side effects really bad, it's kind of like doing a low dose nandrolone. I would run masterone kind of year round. Like I talked about, like using proviron at a very low dose year round. Switch it off with masterone, 200, say a week, and doing that with just your testosterone will just keep your elevated free testosterone, and it'll keep it going from places you don't want it to go. It's only going to do better for you. So.
One final note, I have used the topical DHT, actual pharmaceutical, not the UGL stuff, because everybody that's used the UGL stuff doesn't absorb, but the actual pharmaceutical prescribed DHT gel, which absolutely does absorb. I put it on my nipples, and it doesn't really help that much. I would have thought it would have helped, because since the masterone helps when I inject it so much, I thought applying it topically to the nipple would have helped a lot more.
The topical absorption rate's hours and it's done. So you have to be applying that topical all day from at least the ones out in the market from the last 10 years. You have to apply these things every 3-4 hours.
Okay.
And that's the downfall.
I was only putting it on twice a day at most, sometimes once a day, and didn't notice anything.
Masterone, you're keeping it up high for a long time.
Got it. All right, I'll be injecting masterone or also proviron. I'll do either masterone or proviron whenever I run a DECA, tren, or NPP. These swole friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.